Mark. Time for another episode of Forging Excellence. Are you ready?
Are you kidding me? Today's going to be awesome. You know who we're talking to today?
Who's that?
We're talking to a father, a husband, a former athlete, a Michigan State Spartan, a TED Talk talent, and a big time celebrity on Channel 4. You know who that is? Mr. Darnell Blackburn.
So you met Mark when you guys were working on your MBAs, right?
Yes.
Do you remember what that first impression of Mark was?
That's the
Be gentle.
No, you know what?
I was like, we can decide if we want to keep this in or not, but just for my own curiosity, what was Mark like 20 years ago?
Wow, that was literally almost 20. It'd be 20. Well, what? No, it'd be close to 20. Anyway, he's the same way he is now, Christine. So I remember, like, is he really like this? Like, is he really, you know?
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, he's the same way all the time. And that's the cool part about Mark Smith with an F. He's the same way all the time.
Three
Mr.
F's.
Mr.
Three
Smiths.
Smiths. That's how I have to differentiate him, because I think I know a couple of Mark Smith.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And you know what's funny is I remember we got in there, and it's a big deal when you're deciding like, hey, I'm going to do my MBA. Let me go spend a bunch of money I don't have, but I got to further my career, right? And it's tough, but you always look for, whenever you're doing that, starting something new, joining anything, you're looking for a person you can kind of anchor with. And I remember I walked in and I see this dude. I'm like, that is a stylish guy. Like, that is the epitome of success I'm looking at.
Did he have the bow tie back then too?
No, you know what? I think you were rocking a turtleneck that day.
Man, that's weird. You remember that? Actually, I really probably was. That's so weird that you remember that. It's really, really weird. It's funky, but yeah. I probably really was, because that's what I rocked. I mean, I rocked the bow ties then too. Well, no, I didn't rock the bow ties then, but I was probably rocking a turtleneck. But yeah, coming from work, probably coming in and turtleneck. Yeah, wow. So great impression.
Yeah, I love it.
Of a great guy.
Well, you know what? And here's the good thing too, is whenever you do anything, you're looking for somebody who kind of, you're like, hey, we can grow together. We can do things. We can trust each other. And it's funny, when you're in there, and it's intense doing your MBA. It's like, you got to know your stuff now, and you're trying to fit it in between like your home life with the kids and your wife, and, trying to have some kind of life and all kinds of work. And then, you're starting at 10 o'clock at night to get 4 hours of work done. It's tough, but yeah, I'll tell you, Darnell, man, you were like a rock for me coming through that, and like making sure that I showed up every day. And I'm like, this guy's awesome. I'm going to do my best to not let him down.
So can I tell the truth now? Okay, thank you, buddy. So you put me on here. You put me on here. So no.
Truth.
So Christine and whomever is listening to this, or will listen, truth be told, yeah, that ain't right. No, it's partially right. The reality is that he's absolutely right. You don't want to let. No, here's the right part about it. The right part is that you don't want to let the other person down. And Mark is the guy that you didn't want to let down. And Mark is the anchor. And so here's the thing I remember the most about this. And man, how are we going to keep this short? Okay, here's what I remember the most about this. When you talk about yeah, I know this is like, it's going to be, y'all going to get me. The team concept of this, working in a team and in tandem, so everybody has a role when you work in this master's degree program we were in, and we had teams. And so we would pick roles, and the roles were like researcher, presenter, facilitator, editor, and Mark did everything. He could do everything. He did the super spot. But really, my strong suit was always, both of our strong suits were always presenting. And so what he would do is we would go both of us would kind of acquiesce and try to see who's going to present this time. And we'd bow out together. Oh, no, you do it. No, you do it. No, you do it. And then end up, he do it or I do it. Or sometimes we both do the presenter role, because we love people and being in front of people and encouraging other people. So, yeah.
That's right.
And that's definitely a skill that a lot of people don't have. Like I consider myself someone who doesn't mind getting in front of a crowd, but there was one time I was fortunate enough to go on the news for a brief, like, 2 minutes that I blinked and it felt like it was over, but Mark set it up. We were gonna talk about, my cousin. We were raising money for her cancer treatment at the time, and I remember all of like, sitting in the office, getting ready. It was over a Zoom, and right before I looked at Mark and I was like, "What if I forget how to talk?" It was like all of a sudden it was it just felt so intimidating, and it was that needing to take a breath and, like, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just like, you know what you're talking about. You're not memorizing something that you need to recite, like, just roll with the punches, and I think kind of developing that skill to be able to deal with whatever keeps showing up right in front of you is something that so many people wanna do and they don't know how. Was that Did you face anything like that, or were you kind of camera ready from the get-go?
So, so I speak. Um, I speak, I do speaking, I do training, I own a consulting company. I'm sure we'll get to that. But one of my goals in life is to encourage and pour into other people and speak. So I've spoken at graduation, I spoke at the Fox Theater, done a lot of different things. And obviously the more you do it, the better you get at it. Hopefully, if you work at it, you practice at it. But in speaking in front of an audience and speaking in front of a camera is very different. Because like now I can watch you guys' reactions and I can see the head nods and I can see the smiles, but that camera is pretty it has a horrible personality. It has a it
Yeah.
doesn't do nothing. It just sits there. I mean, I can't break this guy at all. So the first time that I did a traffic report. I'm a traffic reporter as well as the crime and safety expert for. And the first time I did the traffic report, I remember getting in front of the camera and I said, "Traffic is good. Kim's over there. She's still working because Kim DeJulio did the traffic, and she was actually anchoring the desk." And I said, "Traffic is good. Kim's there. Back to you, Kim. That's it." you know, and but I was so nervous, and it was just like I was so nervous, and it took me at least about 3 months to really get into the swing of things, even though I present and speak, because something had to click in my mind, something that Mark said to you, Christine. Um, and I wish he should have told me this too before. I should have had him on my speed dial at that moment to be in my ear. But he said, just be who you are. And with me in front of that camera, I was trying not to be someone else, but I was trying to be perfect. And once I realized that they didn't hire perfect, they hired me. Oh man, it was so
Right. Right.
liberating that it became second nature and it just became fun and it became like it became my oyster to be able to do what I do to encourage everybody. And so that was the difference.
That's awesome to see. So Darnell, let me ask you this. So you're on the news, right? You're doing your thing. I love the fact that you're being you. What was the point, kind of early on where you said, "Hey, listen, this is me. This is my thing. I'm going to do what I do." How'd that come about?
My wife. And so
Okay, all right.
it was her saying to me, they hired you for you. And so just be yourself. And when you're in a new when you're an old person doing a new thing, it becomes a big challenge. And so for me, this is so new that I don't know anything about. I don't have a degree in journalism. My degrees are in psychology and in business, master's in business. And so being in this arena, I was watching and learning and learning by doing things as well. But it just came to me to just she's like, stop worrying about it. Don't go. Like, I did not like doing the traffic, which is a major part of my job, the crime and safety in traffic. But traffic I do every 15 minutes. That was part of the crime and safety aspect, which is what I am as well, is what I do on occasion. They may have me comment about something, and unfortunately, when the MSU shooting happened, I was on air 24 hours doing that in a terrible situation. But A good thing I was able to be there. I actually was blessed to, I think, really help a lot of people. But at any rate, so traffic is consistent. I'm on for 3.5 hours doing traffic every 15 minutes. And I dreaded it. And, she's like, you can't keep going to work doing something that you don't like, especially when you don't know that you don't like it. Give it a chance. So that's that.
Mhm.
And she's like, just be you. And I came up with unintentionally, good morning, good people. That's a thing. When I'm out and I see people, they're like, good morning, good people. And how cool is that? That something that just came to me just to encourage people ended up being something that people say to me when they're excited to see me. It's so cool. So yeah, that's it.
That's just awesome. I love seeing it too because there was a point. That's why I asked that, Darnell. Is like you can see, especially when you guys have your little social media pieces, you are you on in the studio and everybody else digs it. And I'm like, dude, they're having some fun, man. It's funny to see. Like, I know you guys are talking about like serious issues, and then you cut and it's like, go Darnell. That's awesome.
It's so cool. I mean, it's just like you, brother. You get to be who you are. Like the beauty of who we are to other people is who we are. And I don't say that in a a self-centered way. People need to feel they need to feel that they can relate to you. They need to feel like you're a person too. They need to feel like you're tangible, and they need to be encouraged. They need that smile. And so the energy, the energy you bring is the same. It's who we are. And eh, you know it doesn't have to be masked, and so many people get confused. They think that you can't be who you are, and other people be excited to meet you or pleased by you, or you can't help people. And when in actuality, if you're that person, be it. So you bring it light to the world.
And I think so many people think that it's only that perfect version of themselves that feels worthy of being in front of a camera talking to somebody. And it's like, I will always be the biggest expert at being myself. And as soon as that clicked for me, I was like, okay, this is the one thing that, I mean, if I tried to match Mark's energy in certain things, people would look at me like I had three heads. They're like, that's not you.
That's
And
right.
once I kind of realized that being me is good enough. Sometimes even writing emails. Of course, there's certain ways that I want to talk, but it almost like I put on a persona of like, now it's the business lady coming in. And at the end of the day, trying to maintain that is so exhausting. And I also found out that when I just kind of let that guard down that I was putting on myself, not only was I not as tired, but I was getting better responses because people didn't feel like they were talking to a robot or a template. Like they were talking to
Right.
me.
Yep.
I love that. And Darnell, you do that too. You talk about mindset a lot, right? You got to be in the right mindset, right? Walk people through who are listening to this. They think state of mind, mindset, whatever it might be. What do you mean when you talk about mindset?
So I liken it to this. It's kind of a visual picture for me. So first and foremost, a lot of people think state of mind and mindset are the same. And for me, they're not. They differ drastically. So when I was 20 and I went to that wonderful school in East Lansing, go green, went to Michigan State for all the other people, we allow you. We appreciate you being here. But when I went to Michigan State, I worked on campus and had just campus jobs. And quite honestly, as a mature 20-year-old, 19-year-old, sometimes I just would not go to work. I wouldn't call. I I was irresponsible. I just would not go to work. Somehow, by grace, the grace of God, I didn't lose any of those jobs. I really actually kept them, which is phenomenal. But I just some days I just get up and not feel like going to work. So fast forward to when I'm 30 plus years on top of that 20. Now it's like that was my state of mind. Let me back up. State of mind is like something that can fluctuate. It's something that can change. But when your mind is set on something, you must do it. Though I love my job, I dread getting up at 2:45 Monday through Friday, AM, Monday through Friday. And my mindset says this. It says that no matter what happens, I have to make sure that I'm able to provide for my family. So I get up at 2:45 every morning, and I do enjoy the job, but I hate getting up that early. And even if I may have to, have a late night, or maybe I even have to call in sick, my mindset says that I have to go to work. So I kind of look. Here's a visual picture. I kind of look at it like, Mark and Christine. It's like here in Michigan, a lot of us drive these top heavy SUVs. And in Michigan, we have a lot of inclement weather, right? So we got fall, winter, spring, summer, right? In the fall you drive, or the fall you drive through, maybe pretty decent weather. Summer, pretty decent weather. You might get rain here or there, but in the spring you get the rain. In the winter you get the snow, and in the spring you get the potholes, and then you see the unofficial state Michigan flowers. Those cones come out, right? And so I'm in my top heavy SUV, and here's how this goes. I start off just being me in the vehicle. And my goal is to get to somewhere. Wherever it is, I got to get there. So let's say when I was in college, or our master's degree, Mark, my goal was to get my master's degree. Start off in this car. And so what happens is I'm in the car, and all of a sudden there's a pothole. Uh-oh. This is too much money. I don't know if I have the money to pay this. I got to rob Peter to pay Paul to pay for it. So I find the money and I pay for it. Now I'm going through some turbulent winds. I get divorced or have a challenge in my household. So now the car is being shifted. But no matter what, I may hit the pothole. I got a flat tire. I changed it. I got back in. I continue to drive. I get shifted off the road. I hit the rumble strips. Those rumble strips shake me up and they bring me back. And now I'm back on course for my goal. And my goal, if it's to graduate with that master's degree, my goal was to get it, and I got it. And let me back up. I hit a pothole. Let's say I went through the winter. Winter happened one time, and what happened was my car broke down when I was driving to get that master's degree. And what happened was it was such a blizzard in my life that I felt like I couldn't drive the car no more. So what I did was I called AAA, or I called Triple Mark Smith, right? And Mark Smith came out. He came out and he got in my ear. He said, "You know what, buddy? You may need to take some time off, but you are not going to quit, because we are in this together and I got you. So I'm going to help you jumpstart this car if the battery is dead," which is exactly what he did. And he helped me to get to my goal, because that's what good friends do. So my mindset was that I wasn't going to quit, even though I got knocked off course, and man, it was tough. This guy right here, Christine, he came, he got me. He came with the battery charger, he came with the snow shovel, he came with the another tire, he put it on the car, and he said, "Come on, man, let's get in and go." And so I graduated with that master's degree. I got that master's degree because of that, because of my mind's being set on it, because I didn't fluctuate. And if I fluctuated, I got back on course. And I got back on course with help and support and love of family and friends.
My little part in that, Darnell, is just it's reciprocated what I got from you. I love that, but it's encouragement, man. Right? It's all about encouraging other people, whether it's your kids, right, your wife, your friends around you, people in the studio. Talk to us about encouragement.
There's nothing better than, for me, Christine, than to be able to pour into other people. Um, it's there's just nothing better. Even when all the Kool-Aid is out of my glass or almost gone. Pouring some of that Kool-Aid in somebody else's glass is so encouraging. I had to pick Kool-Aid out of everything, right? I couldn't say iced tea. Who says why, who even drinks Kool-Aid anymore? Why didn't I say iced tea?
But you're
Why?
telling
I
me
don't
growing
understand.
up though,
But
Kool-Aid
no,
was a staple. That was like 40% of my nutrition.
what? That's- Is that why you
That's it. That's it.
He's
Hi,
fueled by
Christine?
Kool-Aid and
Yeah.
That's why we
Two
look
cups
like
of sugar. Let's go. Yeah.
That's
I
it,
love it.
baby. Let's go. But no, for me, to encourage other people, even in my struggles and even in my worst time, I believe vulnerability creates visibility for others to see their own capabilities. And really, I think being vulnerable in your toughest times, it allows other people to see that they can make it through you. Because if they know what you've gone through, then they know they can get through. And it also, for me, encourages me. I think there's a saying that iron sharpens iron. As one man does to another, you can only be sharpened. Iron can only be sharpened by iron. And so to get each other's encouragement, that's how we live. That's how I thrive. That's how I live. And that's it's my mission to just pour into people. I love it. And every day I get the good morning, good people. I get to, hey, it's thankful Thursday. I get to while I'm doing something that I thought I hated, the traffic.
Mhm,
Good
mhm.
morning, good people. Hey, Rose, check this is a place you don't want to be right now. or hey, things that guess what? You can grab the extra cup of coffee and keep watching us, before you hit the road because you got extra time. Everything's green, which means go, post this piece. That's good. I mean, that's what I do. And it's just pouring into people. And it makes me people are in the hospital watching us. People are, are in their they're and are they're maybe about to check out. They may be in nursing homes. They may not have family. So this is a blessing for me every single day, every day. So to encourage other people encourages me.
I love
Man.
that. And I know when I was going through a particularly challenging time in my past, I was venting to a friend. And well, of course, she didn't go through the exact same thing. We all have kind of scars of the past. And it kind of clicked in my head at that moment that that is the thing we have in common. It might not be the same experience, but having some experience that has changed us at a core level. And once you kind of lean into that, I know it's helped me be more gracious with other people because I don't know what point of their life I'm meeting them at, or even their point in that day. They could have gotten the worst phone call of their like. I used to work at Starbucks, so not 2:30 in the morning, but I did have like a 3:30 a.m. Alarm.
Amen.
And I think sometimes baristas are like part-time therapists too. And
Mhm.
someone might flip out
Mhm.
because you accidentally put whipped cream on. Like, oh, you're right. I says on the sticker I shouldn't have. I did. I'm sorry. But, I don't know if they maybe got, like I said, the worst call of their life right before. And that was something that really switched my mindset a little bit. Like, I am a daily meditator. That is something that helped me kind of cultivate that skill a little bit and just be a little more gracious in my life with everything. And it's funny, people be like, "Oh, you have everything together," and I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 like you don't, you don't know what I've been through." But it's okay, like you don't have to because we've all been through
Yeah.
something. Have you had experiences like that that kind of really changed your whole outlook on things?
Um, absolutely. I mean, daily. You know, I recently lost my son. I lost my 28-year-old son who, very unexpectedly, very suddenly, he had he had a brain tumor, a cancerous brain tumor at the age of 8 or so, and he battled and fought through that. And, he was fine for 20 years, although the tumor was still there. And, one day it just flared up and he passed out and we didn't he was gone very unexpectedly. So, you know, we all go through things every day, but for me, and even in that, I live in his legacy. The impact that he left in 28 years is immeasurable. He's done more in 28 years than most people in 56, 90, and I would venture to say even 96, and the people that he left an impact on. And so I say that to say this, that you never know what someone else is going through. I mean, in that I was able to have him for 28 years. There's some people who lost their child at 8, though he was in life threatening and could have passed away then. I was blessed to have him for that time. And not even just that, but blessed to like I'm on TV. I do these things. I know Mark Smith, and still, still the coolest thing in the world is that I'm Daryl's dad, and people know me as Daryl
Mhm.
Blackburn's dad. And so, with that, I mean, we go through things daily in our life, and you take from those things, and again, it's about encouraging other people through those struggles and realizing that, what we go through oftentimes is not for us, or it's not for us to at least keep to ourselves. It's to be able to help other people.
God, that's beautiful to say. And I'll tell you, yeah, Daryl, just a beautiful soul, wonderful human being. We haven't even talked about your daughter, who's I'm convinced is going to be president one day.
Yeah,
But you've got a great family. How do you
yeah.
like? You've been through things, man. Being like an undercover police officer, right? Having guns pulled on you, like you are unflappable. How do you take what you've done and impart that into your kids?
Well, you don't tell them because they don't think you're cool, regardless of whatever it is. No, they ain't gonna believe you're cool or nothing. But you know, just by living by example,
Mhm.
and even through your mistakes, I've made some really, really big mistakes as a husband, as a father. But even in those, being transparent enough to say that I made some mistakes, and being transparent enough to live life openly enough to say that those mistakes don't have to define who I am, and those mistakes don't I won't let those define or detract from who I am to you and the things that I give to you or impart in you. And so yeah, that stuff, the job as a police officer was the undercover job. It was a tough job, but it was a rewarding job for me. It was something that I think that I was supposed to do in life that I just didn't even realize until I started doing it, to really to help, even believe it or not, help other people even through that. And so
Yeah.
yeah, just living my life as an example, and admitting that I'm not perfect, but hey, I strive to provide and present the best, be the best to you, and so you can see and learn from me, whether it's a mistake or whether it's something that I've accomplished that's been great.
I'll tell you. Can I tell a story? I don't know if this will make it in or what, but listen, this is funny. I love this. So Darnell's very good at always being calm, right? I think if you're having guns pulled on you as you're undercover, you tend to get pretty calm. But he's got this way too that he will convince you that you are convincing him to do something. So, case in point, we're done with our MBA. You know where I'm going. We're done with our MBA final class. Stress levels went from way up here, like, my God, you guys, I think we're done. This is awesome. So Darnell says to us, hey, you guys want to go out and celebrate? And we all look at each other like, yeah, it sounds good. Where should we go? So we start talking amongst ourselves. They're like, there's this place that is really cool, this cool restaurant bar. Like, let's go there. And Darnell's like, oh, where is that? And we're like, oh, you know what? It's kind of on the way to your house. Like, it'll be easy to, I don't know if I can go. So finally we convinced Darnell to go. Great. We pull into the parking lot. We're all getting out. We start walking in. Darnell's first among a line of us. Place is crowded. And I notice as we walk in, somebody takes Darnell's coat, like one of the workers, goes to hang it up. Somebody else shows up with a drink for Darnell. And just when you're thinking, like, wait, what is going on? Then I hear, next up for karaoke, Darnell and Mark, come on up. And what do we sing? Ebony and I.
Please tell me you finished the parts though. So
Oh, we should
That
have.
would
It
have been
was, oh
actually
my God, it was so funny.
worse.
Dude, that would be great. But it was so hilarious
Look at
because
Mark
we're
turn
all
red.
like, yeah. Well, we all thought we convinced Darnell to go. He almost didn't come with us. And we're like, wait a minute, you had this set up the whole time. Dang, man. So yeah, it's awesome. But that's influence, that's persuasion, that's being a good listener. And we thought we were brilliant, but hey. That was awesome. But yeah, I'll tell you, people don't know Darnell can sing. Darnell can sing. What's your favorite song to sing?
Let's get it on, Marvin Gaye. Let's get it on.
Oh
Let's get it
man.
on.
Oh man.
Yeah, classic.
Do you have yourself
Classic.
recorded singing that?
I do somewhere, yeah, like somebody you recorded something. I think a clip somewhere, maybe. Yeah.
To do.
And
Yeah.
3, 2,
Yeah.
1. No. No, I'm
I was
kidding.
like, no,
You
oh,
will
that was
not know.
terrible, y'all. That was awful. That was wrong. I was like, no.
Cue the
No,
music.
okay, now, I see what this is. Okay, all right, I
You
see.
see, you see, you see. Yeah.
I see.
I'll tell
Okay,
you,
I see.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you,
People
man.
got to hear it though. You do great, but yeah, that's funny just to hear that kind of thing. But Darnell, you've been through so much, man. You did this. Tell us about like the TED talk you did in Detroit, the TEDx. What's that all about?
Oh man, one of the best experiences that I've ever had. Or I would say dopest in young people terminology, although I ain't young. If I had to say it was young people terminology, that means I shouldn't have said it.
Right.
But it was
'Cause you know you got a bunch of
I said
15-year-olds going dopest. We don't say dopest. What are you, 1989?
like
Come on.
dopest. It was one of the best experiences ever, man. So it's TEDx Detroit, and it's it's through the TED franchise, a little bit different because it's more TEDx is for local markets, but nonetheless, it's really it was an honor for me to do that. Only certain people get selected to do it. I had to at the time, submit, a petition, what I was going to talk about, submit a video, do all this kind of stuff, and I've been speaking for a while. That's the other thing too. I'd encourage people, even though you think you may be good at something, there's always an opportunity to get better. And though you may be good, other people don't know that you're good at something until you go out and show them. So don't have the expectation. I was almost like, oh, I got to do that. I've been speaking all this time. This is before TV, nonetheless, that I was doing this, that I did TEDx. But so I had to apply for it, got it. And still, I even applying for it, although I thought I was good to be transparent, I still wasn't sure I was gonna get it because you can't ever think you're that good that you just think it's gonna be handed to you. So anyway, got a chance to speak, and it was like 30 speakers there from all over. Some people sang, some comedians, some people spoke and encouraged people, and just it's just a great atmosphere because TED stands for Technology, Education, and Design, right? I think, yeah, Technology, Education, and Design. And it just brings so much positive energy in one place. The
Mhm.
people who are speaking are from so many different backgrounds and so many different you got design engineers, neurophysicists. You have police officers or former police officers. You have athletes that may speak. You have so many different people that come in and they speak, and it's such a positive energy and so encouraging for the audience to sit and not just the audience, but for us, the other speakers, to hear each other and just be encouraged. You got vendors that come out, and it's just an awesome experience. And I was able to do a speech on bias, implicit bias, which is one of the things that I kind of specialize or focus in terms of training, and just doing that. Just it was just so powerful. It was so exciting for me. So Christine, Mark seen it.
Oh, I've
Hey,
seen
But
it.
when
I've
I
seen it
got
too.
done,
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
saw your
oh,
skydiving pictures.
yeah.
oh god,
Yeah. But you
the
know what?
worst, the worst.
No, it was a great TED talk, and I love the fact Darnell was nice enough. What, a couple of days before or whatever, he said, "Hey, I put together some thoughts. Do you mind listening to this?" And I thought it would be like, I
Yeah,
might talk about this. I might. No. He gave the whole thing, not a word out of place, man. And I remember listening to that. It
yeah,
was so impactful. I'm listening to it. There are parts of it, and I'll tell you what, let's link it below because
Oh, for
everybody's
sure.
got to see this. You're listening to it and you feel yourself getting angry about it. You feel yourself feeling like, oh yeah, as a husband, I know what you're saying about your wife. I get it. Then you feel yourself really like you might cry during this. And then it's Darnell, you're going to laugh during this. I'm like, how in the span of a few minutes, you just ran me through a roller coaster of emotions, and it connected so well that I had for a while there. I was watching that TED talk every day for about, oh my God, it must have been over a month. And it was just awesome. It sets the tone. So worth it to see.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. It was so exciting. I'll let you. I was. It was so exciting for me in such a range. Again, like you're right. Those range of emotions is what I wanted to give to people
Mhm.
because people need to feel that, and because so they can see themselves. But funniest part of this was the very end, and you guys seen it. I was so juiced up, not on bad juice, okay? I was so hyped.
Yeah.
I don't do that stuff. But I was so hyped that I had the clicker in my hand, as you guys saw. And at the end, I was, you know how you drop the mic, you see performers drop the mic, they're like, well, I had the clicker in my hand. I was like, deuces. I dropped that clicker. I'm like, oh my God, that's not my clicker. I gotta pay for that, man. I'll vibrate that. I was like, oh, I broke that clicker. Oh no. But I was I was so I was so energized that I had to that was like the dump. And it just came out of me. Just again, the pour. It was the pour. And just deuces out. It was just like I gave it to you. I gave you what you needed. I gave you what those emotions and everything. So yeah, that was I was like, and I also broke that clicker. Mm.
Oh no.
Well,
No, it did break. I'm joking. It didn't break. It did break.
I like to joke with Mark that, as we're working on Smith Arenas, getting this huge juggernaut of an idea off and running. I mean, every day isn't, a walk in the park. And I'll joke with him that we're living our TED Talk right now. Like these tough experiences that we
Mhm.
are persevering through, this is what we will be able to look back on and use it as an example for others. And I know there are times when Mark and I might be on a call and he's like, all right, Christine, I want you to do this and this and this and this. And I'm like, yeah, you got it. And then we get off the phone and I'm like, I don't know how to do any of this. But I learned to just trust in my ability. I mean, that's
Yeah,
really what it is. Like I've learned to trust in my
yeah,
ability to learn. Like just because I don't know how to
yeah.
do something right now, I've been able to figure it out, for the past 30 some odd years. Like, why would I start doubting myself now? That's why I love every time that you talk about training. Like, that's a core of what I love to do, what I grew up doing, what I felt proud
yeah.
kind of being that little, even if it's just kind of this Jiminy Cricket like voice in the corner, helping someone get, just be able to do something that they couldn't do before. So, what type of training do you like to do?
So for me, the best form of my favorite training is implicit bias training, unconscious and implicit bias. And before I go there, I got to tell you, I believe in you too because I believe in Mark. So I gotta let you know that. And this guy, man, I'll do anything for this guy. I will because there's not too many people like Mark Smith. Well, there may be a bunch of Mark
There's a
Smiths,
bunch.
You're
but
right. I was gonna
there's
say
only one Mark
Google might
Smith.
say otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But no, there's not too many. So I appreciate you believing in yourself through that because this guy's phenomenal, phenomenal. So
We'll
proud of
cut
him,
we'll
so
cut
proud.
all that.
So whatever, whatever, man. No,
But yeah,
no,
let's walk through
no.
that. Darnell, you got
But
companies like that want to hire you, some big companies that are like, you got to come in, you got to train a bunch of people. Walk us through that training.
so what I do is typically I do a 4 hour block of training, 4 or 8 hours. And my trainings they're a plethora. My business website is called as www.prat international or I'm sorry, pratintl.org is for Pratt International. But and again, my company is a training consulting company. So our primary training that we do that most people ask about is implicit bias. And I actually call it empathy education, and there's a reason for that. It's implicit bias training, but it, to overcome our biases, we need empathy. And it's really educating people on how to be more empathetic, how to look from outside the lens that they see and look in Mark Smith's lens or look in Christina Kawai, her lens, to
Kawai.
look
Yep.
from those
I got
lenses.
married last year, so I went from a super Polish last name to a super Japanese last name. So keeping everyone on their toes.
Okay. Yeah, yes, you are. Well, I like the one with the least consonants works better for me. So
And I moved
I
from
got
S to
Kawhi
K in
right.
the alphabet. So,
You moving on up, girl.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Don't do it again. Yeah. So yeah, implicit bias, 4-hour block of training. It's facilitation. I don't stand and lecture at people. They go through exercises. I take people through surveys and a lot of exercises to make them see themselves and understand how they're being perceived and how they perceive other people. And so it's really bias is such a beautiful thing. It really people think bias is solely based on race and bias is so encompassing of so much more than just race. And so we deal with that. We delve into it. I train police officers, firefighters, Fortune 500 companies, hospitals, juvenile justice facilities, uh, people that work at bars. And so we do that. We do de-escalation, bias training, leadership training, just a plethora of human resource based trainings that are non-technical. We develop training programs. A company will call us in and then we'll develop we'll meet with them and kind of talk about what their needs are, organizational needs, and we'll develop a program if we don't already have one that meets their needs, or we'll curtail the program to meet their needs if we have an existing one there's some other things that they need, So that's it. That's what we do. And that's part of our company back there. That's what we do. And our goal is to make sure that, people are valued and people are valued by being trained and that they know that their positions are valuable, that they're valuable, and that they're useful and productive as well. So that's it. We love it.
I
We
love
love it.
that.
Love doing it.
Yeah.
Is there one little lesson, kind of like a spark note version of it, that you feel like if everyone was aware of this or kind of had that in their back pocket, the world might be just a tiny bit of a brighter place?
Yep. You want it? You didn't
Yes,
ask for it.
please. I
I'm
was
joking. I'll give it to you.
the
No, just
dramatic
leave it there.
pause.
Yes.
That was
Yeah,
my,
next
Yes,
question.
that was my Mark Smithism. That was
Right.
my Mark Smithism right there. So no, it's the golden rule. I'm not the golden rule. I don't subscribe to the way that people typically do, which is treat people the way you want to be treated. The golden rule for me is a little different. It's the fact that we have a measure of expectation that is based on how we feel, and other people don't necessarily always match up to that expectation. Sometimes they're high, their expectations may be higher, or their expectations may be lower, or ours may be higher or lower for them. And the reality is, I try to tell people to think about the most valued person or people in your life. And don't treat people the way you want to be treated, because the measuring stick for you is much different than the one that you have for your mother, your father, sister, brother, cousin, aunt, uncle, uh, grandfather, dog, cat. I don't, whatever it is, treat people the way you want the people you love to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. Because truth be told, if you think about it, we do things to ourselves that we would never want done to our sons or our daughters. Some of us drink too much, some of us smoke things, some of us mentally don't take care of our minds, our bodies, our hearts. Some of us may even overeat. So why do I want somebody else to be treated like I treat myself, when oftentimes I have abused myself and haven't been true or good to myself? And that's on every level, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So treat people the way you want your loved ones to be treated, the people that matter the most to you in the world.
Man, that's the golden rule. Geez, I love it.
The real gold. What platinum? What's higher than golden? The
Right,
platinum
yeah.
rule? What are we call it?
Yep, we need
You
it.
just gave me
Well,
something, Christine. I credit you, but I'm taking that platinum rule.
the
Yeah.
platinum rule. Yeah, you have the golden rule.
Percent will be good.
That's good. There you go. I
It's
love it.
coming in.
Well, good. Well, you got to be one of the most stylish guys on TV all around.
Ah.
Your signature is the bow tie. When are we going to see Darnell Z Blackburn bow ties?
Well, that's something that is truly a brainchild. My signature is the bow tie. I think I love bow ties. I got rid of all of um my neckties years ago. Gave them all away, donated them, and just fell in love with the bow tie. But that is on the radar, Mark. It's something a lot of people do. They recognize me on TV with the bow ties, and I'll tell you what's funny. April Fool's Day, I actually wore a necktie. I wore it. What I did was I kept switching it on and off. Well, I had a bow tie on there, I put a necktie on there, I switched the bow tie, and just to see if people were paying attention. None of my coworkers paid attention.
Nobody caught it.
No, one person
Okay.
did, but it was April Fool's Day, but the cool thing about it, two things is that I did it just to have a little bit of fun, but also the tie that I wore, because I don't own any neckties, was one of the ties that belonged to my son Daryl, who passed.
Oh,
So I did get some neckties from once he passed. I had some that I got from him, and I'm going to convert those into actual bow ties. I got a person to do that. But with that being said, Darnell Z Blackburn bow tie line is coming soon, because I've had a lot of people ask me about it, and the goal is to just give people something different, encourage them, and show them how to tie it, because a lot of people don't know how to tie this baby. And I'll tell you what, it took me a very long time. They were looking like this.
yeah.
Just, we walked around, even on TV, I walk around looking like this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the traffic is gonna be going along really good today. Oh wait, something's off. What's going on? Something's off. Oh, they are sometimes challenging the time, but yeah. So coming soon, Mark, is
Good.
something that I really want to do, and in doing it too, when we get it rolling, part of the proceeds are going to go to my son in some way. My son's in his memory, it's going to either be a scholarship. Actually, be quite honest, right now, here next week we're working on an endowment for
Incredible.
Darnell Blackburn at Oakland
That's
University.
awesome.
We're gonna start that actually starting literally next week. So coming soon, that's gonna happen. But also we're looking at starting a nonprofit to help students who've gone through critical illnesses in college, and also just student leaders on campus. Those were his passion projects. So yeah, coming real soon.
Well, you guys, with that, we're going to say goodbye to Mr. Darnell Z. Blackburn. Appreciate you talking to us about mindset and about being a father and a husband and an entrepreneur and helping people, pouring yourself into other people. So, you guys, with that, it's another great show. And man, Darnell, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank you.